that. Happy Aloha Friday. Just driving home. Feels good. Nice. Nope, it's overcast. Anyways, check this out. People always ask me, like, hey, when you moved to Hawaii, was there anything that was like a hard transition for you? I'm just kidding. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody's ever asked me that. But I want to tell you what it's been. The hardest part is you're almost learning a new language because everything here is named after, something that is in the Hawaiian language. So it's all Hawaiian. Not all, but most of it. Like coming up here to Waipahu. So there's a community within Waipahu called Waipio. And when my wife first told me about Waipio, she's like, are you just thinking the letters Y-P-O? And I'm like, yeah. And it's not that. But that's how I heard it. That's how I saw it in my head. But that was the hardest thing to learn, how to say like some of the street names and stuff. As a respiratory therapist going into the hospital, I told my wife, I go, man, in the mainland, we just say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, or hey, Mrs. So-and-so, until we get to know them as a patient, then we may get a little more familiar with them as far as names. But I'm like, what if I can't pronounce their name? I don't want to mess it up. And I go, oh, my wife and my brother-in-law, just auntie and uncle. So then I do that, but then there's this thing where even if they're older than me and I'm trying to be respectful, uncle may not want to be called uncle because it makes him feel old. So then I don't know. It's confusing sometimes. But the language itself, the way it breaks down, is actually fairly easy. Like you look at it, it's like, oh man, so many letters and all these vowels, but the vowels are pronounced differently, and that's where the catch is, right? So once you learn that pattern, it gets better and easier. But yeah, that was one of my biggest worries. Like, I'm gonna go in there to the hospital, I'm gonna go into the room and be like, I can't read your name, I was really worried about that. But as long as you show respect and you're respectful, then everything's chill, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's my little antidote today, my little lesson, whatever you want to call it. Love you guys.